So here's a little video where I'm going to be talking about Ubisoft's problems. Now, I'm not going to read this whole article, but the gist of it is that basically there was a systemic breakdown of what needed to be done at Ubisoft. You had a breakdown on a HR level, personnel level, and societal level over at Ubisoft. And the fact that just now people are actually coming up with, hey man, we might not have should have done that, is hilarious to me because some of the quotes that we've heard from some of the perpetrators of this abuse are pretty bad. I think one of the quotes that one of the perpetrators of this of this harassment said about a female employee was she needs to have her attitude fixed, and the only way her attitude can get fixed is if she's bent over and fucked in the ass, and basically passed around by a group of guys fucking her in the ass. Now, I don't have, of course, this was probably said in French, so it probably sounded a lot better in French. But still, I think I will link a video. I'll link a screenshot of that particular exchange after the cut. So here's the quote. This is what someone said. Um, you know. So this was in French. And this apparently happened a short time ago, just 2 years ago. So. So essentially, this is in French, so this is probably being translated, not translated well. So basically, this person says that they wanted to create a anonymous reporting tool in 2018 to report acts of corruption and bad practices. Worse bad practices in the business, but HR explicitly said no, we're not going to do that. So basically, there are 100 reports filed that mentioned environmental harassment. This included women alone in a team of men that are displaying pornographic pictures or watching pornographic movies. Half the cases had already been reported previously to the HR department. This shows that the HR team is the silencing arm of Ubisoft. So instead of actually trying to, deal with the problem, they just buried it and hope that the people who reported this will go away or quit. So HR was working arm in arm with human resources was working arm in arm with the perpetrators of this thing. So this is Sergei Haskowit. This is the guy who basically resigned. So he is even valued despite his toxicity, his misogyny, his homophobia, and his management style about crushing orders for his libidinous behavior. Some today are trying to minimize this, saying he was a creative person. So he says that we knew about Sergei. He was present when someone tried to forcibly kiss a colleague, and that made him laugh. So right there, sexual harassment. Sergei reportedly drugged employees without their knowledge, including members of the top management, by sharing space cakes. Those are basically pot brownies. Report on one of his outbursts about a VP that demanded a lunch meeting with him. Sergei said this bad fuck was hindering his creativity and that someone should open her mind by fucking her from behind and share her around until she gets it. That's some Mel Gibson shit right there. So during a work dinner, he forces his creative directors to drink until they're sick, then asks the waitress to bring all the bottles of the restaurant. On the company's down, of course, and shouts, "You are a faggot if you don't drink." He reportedly blocked a woman in the elevator and put himself against her, making groaning sounds and looking her in the eyes. Some of his collaborators in the editorial team reportedly did the same, to the point it became a signature move. So basically, in 2015, Ubisoft adopted a code of conduct. The article quotes someone who saw its creation process and missed opportunity for positive washing, which basically means toning down the language so that it's less negative or precise in its codification. So basically, it was excluded for the sexual harassment examples. I mentioned the case where a manager would be the harasser. It was deemed too pessimistic and employees think it could happen, because it fucking did happen. Describing the toxic culture, a fresh from school new employee, it was so bad I focused on my own survival. I feel bad to have belonged to this toxic team, where in meetings we would give nicknames to colleagues, calling an eccentric game designer the moron. Basically, as soon as something was deviating from the established tone, the stance was to pretend the person was anormal. One of the people that came forward was described in the team as a slut, a crazy woman that we should ignore. So the people in charge of handling employees and their career paths in the company are not trained to handle harassment. They don't know how to listen to victims. Worse than that, they were never told to consider the well-being before the people's well-being before the business's well-being. Never, never, never. The head of HR is reported saying Eves is okay with toxic management as long as those managers' results exceed their toxicity level. So they're willing to give a second, third, or even more chances necessary to its key employees as long as they basically bring in money. And the article concludes that if Ubisoft had officially taken action on only 3 people, there were 20-odd people being investigated by external auditors. This should lead to terminations, as you don't start them unless you have a solid case. Now I'm going to go get some fresh air. So basically, this was in French, and this is badly translated, but basically, Ubisoft had a failure on 3 levels. Like I said, systemic, personally, and on a social level. Systemic in that there was no system in place to properly deal with these things. Now, part of this could be because of incompetence, but I mean, this is a multi-billion-dollar company. It's called the European EA. So how do you get that big and you can't deal with these types of HR issues? I mean, I don't think it was done out of, oh, we didn't know. This was done maliciously and calculatedly because in a calculated manner, because basically they were about money over their employees. But here's the thing, okay? Bad employees can bring you down faster than a bad product. Okay? But whatever. So basically, and then it failed on a personal level. Like, why would you want your employees to basically be in a work environment? Like, from what I understand about game development, it's already kind of a high stress environment. I mean, do you have to worry about someone trying to rape you on top of that? Man, I gotta get this area coded out so people won't be falling through the floor. And also, I gotta worry about my boss drugging me or trying to rape me. Yeah, it's great. This is hostile work environment 101. A lot of people need to be fired for this. This isn't like just fire a few people. A lot of people need to be fired. Their whole HR department needs to be fired. And on a social level, they failed because, I mean, socially speaking, people should not have to work. I mean, it's like going to work in these types of environments is already kind of fucked up. It's already difficult. They aren't being paid really what they really should be getting paid for what they're doing. They aren't getting the type of profit sharing that they should be getting. And yet, you know, it's and so, you know, they're not getting paid exactly what they really should be getting paid for what they're doing and all that other shit. So, I mean, basically, it's just a failure all around. So, with that being said, I'll get to my conclusion after the cut. So, I guess we can talk about the conclusion. Conclusion is that Ubisoft is fucking. I mean, this is some fucked up shit. You had a systemic failure on multiple levels. You had failure on multiple levels: systemic, personal, socially, at Ubisoft. And you know, I think this is one of those top-down things where it was pervasive. You know, the various things that should have been in place in a multi-billion-dollar company weren't in place to deal with this, and it's fucked up. I don't think anyone can really make excuses for this. Personally, I've never really been that into Ubisoft's games. I find them to be kind of meh, but I mean, goddamn, this really makes me not want to buy their products, because I mean, you know, I don't want my money going to some place that basically treats their employees like that, because, you know, like it said in that earlier thing, as long as they make money, we'll just let them get away with it. You know, I mean, yes, I enjoy playing video games, but, you know, I mean, I don't want my enjoyment of something to be more important than, you know, people's mental health. And in this case, this is like, goddamn, this is some fucked up shit. This is some really fucked up shit. So I can't, you know, I can't personally give my money to Ubisoft for this. So, I mean, which is okay, because I really don't buy Ubisoft games until they're, you know, when I like, literally, if I do get a Ubisoft game, it's because it's dirt cheaper on sale. Like, I don't spend a lot of money for those games. So, with that being said, tell me your thoughts on the Ubisoft scandal. I mean, is this going to, you know, does this give you an impetus to not buy their games ever, or, you know, spend, you know, lower amounts of money on it, shit like that? So tell me what you think in the comments section, or you can send me a Gmail at mrredfoxbsbusters@gmail.com. You can @ me on Twitter at mrredfox91, or you could always get in touch with me via Discord. So with that being said, that's the end of this video. Rate, comment, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Peace, and have a good day.